Comic Con, Stockholm 2021. Quite the experience, I might say. I will go through each day, the highlights, the thoughts I think that came up in terms of things that I would do different or the things that I regret doing or not doing, so that it serves not only to show my experience as an artist at the Artist Alley, but also to show how the Comic-Con went. So yeah, let's start. Friday was nervous. It was a nervous day. The night before we went through everything, my friend arrived. I didn't sleep well that night, and I want to believe that it's because of the new sleeping arrangement, just so I could escape the fact that it was actually the nerves of having to see whether it would pan out, whether it be a success or a realization that I might not sell anything. It's always very scary to know that your art is not good enough for someone to pay money for it or for it to be valued that way. There are so many great artists out there. Proof of that is that in the Artist Alley, there were a lot of great artists. All of those artists were doing their own thing. You know, there was an artist that was doing face painting, another artist that was selling their own made board game, which was amazing. And also there was someone who was selling their comic book saga or original paintings, original art. None of us separate each other in terms of product that we were selling. It was the same types of products, we were selling illustrations, but I think both sides were selling also, stickers and charms. So in a way, the clients that did walk by ended up buying what they liked best or they had a preference for. There was a variety in terms of types of products. And I think that was a really positive thing. We were allowed to, thankfully, set everything up the day before. So that's what we did the day before. We went there. We had a special entrance for the exhibitors. I kind of felt very VIP in that sense. They gave us a badge. They checked the COVID certificate and they let us in. It was just fun to be around because you were treated as one of the other exhibitors.
All right. We're in the Artist Alley. Well, we're in the Galleria of Comic Con. We're going to look for a table. We got the section over there. And we got our passes. It looks pretty neat. And yeah, let's check out what other people do, how they display everything. See ya.
So there were a lot of people setting everything up, talking to each other, people that might be from companies or bookstores or local bookstores or local game shops and stuff like that. And I think that was pretty nice. So yes, we built everything up. We chose the table. So when we arrived, the Artist Alley was cornered in the building. So there was a corner where you had a wall behind the tables, which I did not account for, that you could put up things, or you could put your vertical banner, or if you had a board. One of the artists brought a board with her and she put up all the drawings. It was a massive board to do that corner table. I think she actually bought 2 tables. I think she did bought 2 tables because the prices were pretty good. Second table would have benefited. Any artist that might have been more of a veteran and they might have known how much they can get back from what they sell and all that. But for me, it was the first time, so I only thought of getting 1 table. So we set up everything during the night. I think the setting was pretty good. I was kind of scared because my friend told me that my setup was very high, and I told him, of course, it's because, as explained earlier, we want to gain height so we can attract the attention of the passing buyers. As it's resulted, it did brought the attention. People, you could see people, because when you're sitting down, before you get clients, you're sitting down, you're observing. You see, whether people react or not react. And that would be the first positive highlight I have. Seeing people react to your art, if you have them displayed, if you have them up high, seeing people react to them, to see them freaking out, especially kids, because kids don't repress their excitement. They see, if you see in the display, I put the Luca drawing because I knew it was a really nice piece. It was horizontal, so without even thinking, I put it on the kid's eyesight, sort of it was one of the lower boxes level, right above the table, and kids were freaking out, they were pointing at it and saying Luca. That's always very fun to see, but mostly the other kinds of reaction from people saying, oh my god, this art is amazing, and looking around and approaching the portfolio and perusing through it. That is and will always be a very reinforcing and encouraging thing to watch, especially as you are sitting behind and you're observing that people. So yeah, we did all the setup and I think it looked pretty good. I gave it a lot of thought. Check my video where I showed the display that I was thinking about doing. I think it worked really well.
Alright, so we got it set up and we didn't bring all the stuff because I'd never done this, so I don't know if it's how it's going to turn out, and I wasn't sure if we had to bring all this stuff now or tomorrow, so Yeah, we're gonna bring them today.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back. Hello, we're back, and we brought all this stuff with us now, like the rest of the stuff. We're gonna do the whole setup, and so that next tomorrow we have everything ready, and we just have to, have breakfast, throw up because of nerves, and just come here, and yeah.
So that was Thursday, the day before. Once we had everything set up, I was too scared to leave the prints there because I didn't know. I mean, it's not that I didn't trust the other exhibitors or organizers, but I just felt uneasy leaving all my stock there. The money I would get back, it depends on how well I treat those products. While I use my gloves to take them out and put them in sleeves and provide that to the client, that sort of service that I think goes a long ways. So that sort of weight was off my shoulders for the following day, where after a bad night of sleep, I woke up and I couldn't even eat my breakfast, but I had to eat something. So then first day, sorry, I'm going around all these details. I'm going in my head through all the things that happened. So we got there, we sat down, we set everything up, put up all the banners. The night before, I think we set the prices. I wasn't sure how I was going to put the prices. We sort of improvise a price list, which in my opinion, I don't know, I'm 50-50 now as a feedback of how it turned out. I'm torn on whether you should have it pre-made, and have it printed nicely, or you should have different versions, or you should see just how the artist alley goes. We'll talk more about that. So yeah, first day we got there, I realized that when we got there the previous day, there were the corner tables, and there were 2 island of tables. There was 8 tables. 8 and 8. There was a bunch of tables in the center. So it was in a corner, and these islands of tables, they were looking towards the main hall. There was a hall where people could walk through, and those were the most important tables to grab because you were putting all your display, your setup, and they were looking towards the audience or the passerbyers, and those were the most important ones.
This is it. We've done all the setup. We came up with new ideas thanks to my partner, and yeah, I think everything. Sorry about the sign, it looks a bit wonky, but I think it's pretty nice. And,
The sign looks fine.
And positive thinking, I guess. So yeah, we're just gonna leave things like this. No more prints fit on the display, and we don't want to overcrowd it either, so I think we're just gonna leave it like this. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. Bye! Very good. Very good.
So what we did is we took the table. So there was a line of tables near one of the longest walls, and the first table was already taken. So I decided to take the second table. Yeah. So to my right we had a table, one of the artists, actually 2 artists that were sharing one table. So we were all a little bit cramped on the right, but there was nobody on our left. There was 1 table empty. My friend said it was because, my display was so tall that nobody would actually see the other person, which started to make me feel bad. But as it turns out, during the entire weekend, no artist sat there. And things started pretty good. My first or second client was this dad with 2 kids, and he bought 2 A3s, and it was amazing because I got to sign them. He asked me to sign them. And of course, I gave him an additional print for being sort of one of my first guests and for being so friendly. And so it was amazing. It was a great exchange, and this is very cool. Once that happened, the whole day went very on and off. There was a lot of people going by. They approached, they looked at the portfolio. I kept telling what would become my catchphrase. Hello, if you like it, there's more designs on the portfolio. Feel free to take a look. And, people would actually do so. Calls to actions do work well that way. They would look through it and they would be amazed. And while they'll do it, I'll just drop the fact that there are different sizes for the drawing. So that's the first mistake, actually, of the day. So I hanged out the A3 versions of the drawings because I thought they could be easier to spot from the distance and even easier to appreciate closer. You can see all the details. But I did not realize that people might not know that there are different sizes available. I mean, I did have it on my price list, each size, what the prices are. But I did not realize that maybe people don't understand. They saw a drawing, they said, okay, this is too big. I want a small drawing. And they did not realize that I had that drawing in the smaller size. So I kept saying throughout the 3 days, I kept saying that. And some people were like, yeah, I know. And other people were like, oh, okay. And I think in some occasion it did actually spark all right, if there are more sizes, then could I have this in this specific size? And then that would open dialogue for, no, I don't, or yes, I do. The second error of the day was food. We didn't go to the groceries to get the food. I thought perhaps my friend could just go over and get some food. Actually, I have no idea why I didn't tackle the food issue. I don't know if it was because I might have thought that maybe there'd be food at the convention, which there was, but then we realized there was a lot of queues and it was very weary. It was very tiring in terms of, engaging with clients is very energy consuming and we needed constant nourishment in that sense. So we had water, a bunch of chocolate and sugar, but when time came for lunch and we didn't have any lunch, so I sent my friend to see if he could find anything to eat, and there was a supermarket nearby. We just grabbed some sandwiches, but that's something very important you should do. Prepare the food, like bring a backpack of food. I was standing up all the time, the entire day, the entire Friday I kept standing up so I could be more approachable, and I have no idea what the takeaway is from that, because the following 2 days my friend told me I should probably sit down so I don't pressure the client, and that's true, but somehow I don't know, I sat down and the following day there was a noticeable decrease of clients staying. I mean, they did approach, so the approaching was not the problem. People did approach, right? They did not stay, so I'm not sure if it's because I was not engaged or I was sitting down and I was not paying attention to them. But the first day was pretty good. I made a bunch of sales. We thought that the next day would be where we would sell more, because that Friday it was non-working day for some people in Sweden, but for others it was. So we thought that there would be less amount of people on the Friday than on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, so at one point I was in chaos mode. I was constantly changing things in the display. Because of the sizing misunderstanding issue, I decided to put post-it notes on A5s, 3s and A5s and their prices, so that people will be, more aware of it. And I think in a way it did help. Later on, I came to the realization that people might not know, and people didn't actually know, the paper sizes. I had a A3, A5, A6 standard format of paper, but not everybody knew what it was, and you could tell because clients were unsure which number to choose from. They just saw the format, A6, A3, and they saw the price and they just imagined it was bigger. So at some point I did actually show them, hey, this is a big size and this is a small size and this is a medium size. And I did have some of them at hand. In the portfolio we had A4s, and then hang up I had A3s, and they could sort of figure out. I had to go down under the table and grab the A5s and show them. And at some point I did put up an A5 next to an A3 and one of the A6s. Another cause of confusion was that, and this is something that all in all at the end of the convention I realized, was that I had printed in specific sizes, specific designs. There was a Stranger Things piece that I thought it would be nonsense to have in A5, given how many characters there are, how many things are in the poster, and in an A5 it would be less visible. So I thought, hey, I'm going to print it in A3, but I'm not going to print it in A5. As it turns out, I had, I think, 2 clients that asked for that size. I didn't manage to convince them to take, a size above it, a size I had available for it. But I could see that I did not want to deprive them from the kind of size they would want. We will go through the prints later. I will go through my take on prints, my feedback, my thoughts about the prints that I brought and the lessons I've learned in that sense. Day 2. So after day 1, everything was great. We made some money. We sold some prints. I was very, very happy. I was delighted with the people there. The whole transition, I thought the payment would be a little bit stiff. I mean, the first drawing that I sold, we were having trouble fitting the drawing in the sleeve, and it was not professional sleeves. It was only a binder plastic, which still made its work, and everybody was actually using it too, which it was funny. I did not have one for A3s, which stressed me out a lot because I was giving A3s without any protection whatsoever, just putting them on paper bags, just giving it to them, and people seemed to be happy about it. So I started to toss also business cards, which at first I was just tossing inside and saying, mention it to everybody, to if they were asking, because some people did ask me, hey, do you have something with Nightwing, or do you have something with, and I would always refer them to my social media. I did not bring one with me, but you can check my social media. You can take a card or take a picture on the social media sheet, which surprisingly nobody did, because perhaps it was not as obvious. That's something I did realize during these 3 days. There are things that I expected people to come up with instead of explicitly telling them to do it. I later realized that it's easier to make call to actions, and something that you should do. Make call to actions to people. If you want them to take pictures of something, if they want more designs, they can look at the book. Same thing with this different sizes. You just have to put all the information out there. Sometimes it's easy as just putting up more post-it notes of prices, even though you have a price list. But people just don't see it. They're distracted by so many things popping at them, and there was a lot of things put up. It was all cluttered. There was so many things hanged that I think people didn't know where to look at. But at the same time, putting up fewer designs made people think you only had that. You would have to do that next step of making them look at your portfolio and see other designs. I ended up selling a bunch of everything. I did not sell a lot percentage-wise of the stock. I still have a lot left, but I did make back my money, and I'll tell you later why. So day 2, we woke up pretty late. I was considerably less nervous, and we got there late, so that was stressful. It was considerably slower in general, but there was a lot of great things. The press interviewed me. They asked me who I was, what I did, and asked me if I had any social media, and I did mention my YouTube channel. The rest of my social media, but my YouTube channel came up because he then asking me for the name of it, and I answered. I was feeling reinforced by the input of people, the way I saw them reacting to what I was selling. Didn't feel like my art was ready because people were responding to it. They were amazed by it. They were buying it. So it's been a very positive outcome. But it was considerably slower for some reason. I don't know if it was because, like I said earlier, my friend recommended that I sat down so that I didn't stress people out. But it was very nice when it came to me as an artist. There was this one girl that approached me, and she asked me kind of a loaded question. I was happy to oblige, and I was happy to tell her my thoughts on it. She asked me what she needed to do to become an artist, like how to become an artist. Fortunately, the kind of artist she wanted to become was sort of the kind of work that I want to do in the future. She mentioned that she was interested in animation. She was interested in storyboards. She was all over the place. Well, just like me. She was pretty young. She had a lot of time in front of her, and I thought that she would just do just fine. She showed me some of her sketches, and we had a really insightful conversation. I hope I helped her, and it was very nice to be asked that kind of questions, to be viewed as someone that has achieved that sort of skill level, that they can be asked how you acquired it. Yeah, it was just amazing. Yeah, day 2, when it came to sales, it was the lowest, which thankfully for that, the following day, I decided to do the all-in when it came to selling. But Saturday was a good day to be acknowledged as an artist. Now, another thing very important was, because of the sizing issues, I decided to change the pricing and also, at the middle of the day, the display. I also took that chance to lower a bit the prices. I did do it at the end of the day on Saturday, but people started to buy more. I don't know if it was because of the specific time of the day, which is also important. On the mornings, people might not buy like an A3 because they don't want to carry it with them, but rather wait until the end of the day. I think I remember on Friday or on Saturday, I'm not sure. I think I had like 3 or 4 clients. There was like 3 hours after lunch where almost nobody came. But like on the last hour, so many people getting like A3s, and like mostly because perhaps they would think that, they were just going home and it was the only day they were going to go to the con. So they wanted to take that with them. And then Sunday was amazing. It was non-stop. My friend and I were starting to sync up. We were already veterans at it, and we decided to do something massively different. We know that both tables next to us, they were selling pretty well because they were very well organized when it came to stock. I had more than I realistically thought I was going to sell, because I thought I could use it to sell on other occasions, which I later realized was sort of limiting. If I save some of these drawings, perhaps those items will not sell as well, because my style would have changed considerably, and if they didn't sell that one time, then maybe they didn't sell at all, which I call the Batman v Superman paradigm. When I decided the designs for this artist alley, I decided to bring fan art and I decided to bring original art, and this is going to be my take on the prints now. I misjudged surprisingly, the wing walker piece where there's a girl sitting on an airplane wing and there are paper airplanes flying around. That was the most selling piece of mine. I ran out of, which one was it? I think it was A4s, and people got, all sizes, and they loved it. And the original pieces, they sold as much or nearly as much as the fan art, which it's even way more encouraging knowing that the original art is being valued just the same. Of course, I brought less number of the original art than the fan art because I sort of knew that the fan art would sell more, and in a way it was a good decision. But it was surprising because I ran out of some of the original pieces. So yeah, in general, my feedback on the prints and the organization of prints I had was that I have to first make lesser numbers. It is much better to bring a limited amount, like a fewer amount of prints. If you do what I did on Sunday, which is art commissions or sketches. Actually refer to them as sketches. People might understand that better. You would not believe the success of doing sketches on the table. It was amazing. Not only does your time pass by faster, but you get requests. You will not believe the success I had with the art commissions. I think I would have not made my money back if it wasn't for offering that on the side. So on Sunday, and this is sort of finalizing the prints input that I have, it's lesser number. And if you do run out, you can offer art commissions. And the second one is the size. The bigger, the fewer you should have of them. For some designs that are more detailed, I brought 10 units. Of some of them, I still have the 10 units. I did not sell a single one of them, which is another topic when it comes to which designs to sell and which doesn't, which is the Batman v Superman paradigm that I did not finish telling. The Batman v Superman paradigm was Batman v Superman was one of the most voted, liked, in the polls was very highly ranked. It was one of the most supposedly best-selling pieces in my social media, in my DeviantArt, in my Instagram, and nobody bought a single drawing. I had it exposed actually on the side that it's near where everybody walks, everybody. Nobody bought a single Batman v Superman drawing. And it's because of this. It's because, of course, it's impossible for you to know if a design will sell. There are a lot of things involved. Another thing that I think I learned in the designs, which I did consider, the trend. You have no idea. If it is like really important for you, which it is for me, I just wanted to sell the drawings or even draw the drawings of, things that I connect to, that I want to draw. I don't want to be chained to having to draw a specific thing. Like if Squid Game is trendy, to draw a Squid Game drawing or a Baby Yoda one, or all these very specific trends or fandoms that are very, very famous. And that in a way had stopped me from perhaps having more sales. But if I'm not invested in that the franchise or the fandom, it feels weird for me to make a drawing or make a piece alluding to that kind of fandom. And this leads me to the second most selling drawing in the fan art, which was the Mulan piece. The Mulan piece was so successful because when I drew it, first it was ignited by the challenge. It was Dune Tune. The prompt was Brave. And I thought about cartoons, and what popped up was that moment in Disney animated movie Mulan from the 90s where she, cuts her hair and takes her father's place in the army. And that was amazing, with the music and everything. And people saw that. When you invest yourself in a piece, you can tell that somebody has, the mood is correct, the rendering, the positions of everything, the pose, everything falls together, and you could tell. The drawings that I've sold were the ones that I knew I was going to sell because I knew that for me, they were some of my best pieces. The lady in the airplane wing, the Stranger Things poster was sold a lot. The Luca drawing also. I knew that drawing was going to sell, not only because it depicted a very trendy movie right now, but the scene that I showed was a very fun one, and it turned out to be cool. I filmed myself doing that drawing because I knew it was going to be pretty cool too. The Spider-Man drawing also was successful. In general, I am happy with the designs that I've chosen. Your art will communicate with people, and people would see that. They will see when a project is inspired. That's why I didn't want to make pieces based on fandoms or ideas that were forced out in that sense. Have fewer of the bigger ones. Some people want to take just memorabilia. They want to take small items. They want to take something that they can pack, something that they can carry, something that will remind them of something specific. So I would prioritize selling smaller sizes, especially postcard sizes, which I had the unfortunate exchange with many clients that were asking me if there was a specific design in A6, and I didn't have it. People were asking in that specific size in A6, drawings were displayed. So in that way, communicating the sizes and the availability of the sizes for the drawings is also very important. I will prioritize making small sizes collections, and also uniformity. It is stupid, and I should have seen this, to have different drawings only in specific sizes, because that would add one more step to the whole process. process, and we do not want that. You shouldn't want clients to regret or to step back as soon as the process becomes more complex. You should be able to tell them, we have this in these sizes, all of them are in these sizes from A3, A4, A5, A6, and you can choose wherever you want. So instead of you calculating, or like I did now, instead of you calculating, these ones have more detail, so I just want them in A3s. It will make no sense to have them in A5 or A6 because that's too small of a size and you won't be able to see the detail. People do not care about that. They would just buy the A5s or the A6s if they want it. So if they want the Stranger Things poster with a lot of details in A5 or in A6, you have to provide that to them, despite how you personally might think, okay, this person is not going to see the detail in the face on the person on the back. So yeah, those are my takes on prints, which leads me to on-site art commissions. Great idea. One of the greatest ideas. There have been, I think, 4 greatest ideas I've had this weekend. They're not groundbreaking. I have been told of them earlier by other artists. I just didn't give it the importance that they actually do have. That's why I want to reinforce their importance by saying the portfolio, it is of paramount importance. Have a portfolio there because not only does it work as some sort of showcase for your art that they can look closer to, but it's also a listing of your available products. It's literally an inventory list. So do have those there. Secondly, the sizes of the prints, which I previously mentioned, I went over that. I'm not going to go too much over it. There are people also interested in A3s. They want posters. There are many kinds of clients, many kinds of customers that would prefer a higher price itself. You know, oh, this is a very high quality poster. I want a poster size for it. Or some people that might want just a postcard for any reason whatsoever. But the demand is higher with the smaller sizes. Small, inexpensive thing that they can take with them. The third one is business cards. Like the cards were starting to run out. I was very concerned, and at some point I even stopped putting cards inside bags so that I could save them for like Sunday. It was still the rest of Saturday and Sunday for the cards. I didn't want it to run out because I only had 100, which is something I did learn in the end. When it came to business cards, 100 are not enough. You need to make more. Like you need to make way more and just give them away. In the end, I have a lot of cards that I did not give away, and that's less exposure than perhaps I might get. I regret not giving them more and running out. And another idea I came up with related to this one is if you do run out, or if that client ends up losing that card, they don't remember the artist, I have something that I also came up with that I might do, and that is to put stickers with your name, all that information on a very small sticker and put it behind the print. Of course, it all depends on your budget. I think stickers in general are inexpensive. You can sort of see that their prices are not as crazy as they seem. And finally, the art commissions. The art commissions for me were amazing. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating because I saw that it was a massive success. We took the table next to us and I decided to offer sketches and make very simple coloring. I had my Prismacolor pencils and I just, and you can see the pictures now and you can see me drawing in action. But as you can imagine, it was amazing. People were just staring, which as I was sitting next to it and my tablecloth did not go over it, partly because I was scared of doing that and being told off by some crew member that was checking up on the artist alley. I was scared that they might say, hey, you didn't buy this table, so don't use it. Which, by the way, that table nobody sat there. There was like a bunch of tables without anybody being using it. So that was a very lucky thing. There were a lot of very lucky things during this Comic Con. The wall behind us to put posters. We had a extension cord to plug things on, so I could charge the card reader, which, by the way, worked wonderfully. There's a fee that I have to pay of each transaction, but it's very, very few. I had no issues whatsoever with the payments. I had Swish, which is like a phone paying sort of system where people just, put the phone number in something and they just send the money. And the card reader, which at times it worked. It was very chunky and like it did not connect. It was through Bluetooth and it didn't connect. But people didn't lose their patience and they didn't just like leave or anything. Or people might think, and people actually did think in a way, I was a different artist. So when they did notice art display, they would go there, but they would see me drawing on the other table and they would redirect their attention to them. So in a way, I fear I might have lost some client there. But in exchange, I gained clients that perhaps would have not bought anything. A lot of requests, simple requests too. I think there was only the manga requests that were a little bit tough, and one of them there was like a picture of a dog. But otherwise, on the other ones, I mean, I was really into it, of course. But I was sort of saying at the beginning, I was like, oh, this is going to be like something's not going to work out. I did a couple of sketches as proof, and I sold them right away. I did a Baby Yoda with Mandalorian, and he sold right away. I did a Squid Game soldier, and he sold right away. It was a complete success. The best thing about doing sketches there there is that if they look at your designs and they imagine, because this was a real case, someone really likes Stranger Things, and there was one of the characters that they really liked, Maxine from season 2, but the poster that I did was from season 1, so she didn't appear on it. So instead, this led me to, hey, well, if you are not sure about buying then this design that I have, after they asked me if I had another design, I said I don't, and I said, hey, but I'm offering this other thing, the prices are over there, you can check it out. I take requests, and it did work. The dad then, talked to the girl, which was a little bit shy, and she, she asked me, well, his dad told me as a middleman, she really liked Maxine riding a skateboard, and I did the drawing, and it was really great. I took pictures of all those commissions. Normally, if I do on-demand sketches, I feel very pressured and I screw up sometimes, and all the sketches that I did on site, I sold all of them, and it was amazing, and it really did encourage me to consider it next year if I still have a table partner, because while I was working on the prints, my friend was taking care of the customers. Otherwise, I could have completely lost the other one. And overall, I think it was an amazing experience. I think I've never lived anything like it, and it was such a positive outcome for me. It changed the way I view myself, the way I view people in general. I'm very surprised of how many people are actually supporting artists. It just is very reinforcing, it's very supportive, it's very nurturing, and I will most definitely do it again. If there's something I missed, I would put it somewhere else. I know this video is going to be pretty long. I'm basically summarizing the entire weekend in like one video, perhaps two. We'll think about that. In general, it was an entire great experience. There are things that I did wrong, of course. There are things that I wish I hadn't come up with earlier, but I think overall we adapted to what was there. We adapted to the prices. We adapted to things to engage people on. Saturday was a little bit slow, but it made up in the fact that, I got interviewed, I got a lot of exposure, I got asked also about that one thing, and in general, each day had a different thing going on for it to make it just as special as the previous one. It was just great. So yeah, I hope this helped. I have sprinkled throughout the video tips and feedback on what I saw that I came up with, lessons that I learned, and things that I saw that have changed the way I perceive the Artist Alley. And I hope that this helps you too, now or in the future. I wish you a great Artist Alley, and thank you so much for listening. That's it.